What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. And everybody's going to be joining in soon. So thank you for joining. The rest of the crew should be here very shortly. But in the meantime, make sure you guys get over to our website, gftradioshow.com, for all our links, for all our socials, all the things. And you know where to find us right here on Monday nights at 10 p.m. You know how to get on here for Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and catch all our shows, as well as make sure you join the conversation over at Join the Conversation Group. And that's facebook.com/groups/GFT Join the Conversation. Make sure you join us for great topics, for discussions, for all kinds of things that's going on over there. So make sure you guys do that. In the meantime, we're going to get to it here. Not going to be on for too long, won't keep you too long. You know, we try to give you some great topics and some great discussions, and then, you know, go from there. So tonight we have some trending topics, some big ones too, because you know how we do it. You know, we try to catch up with the latest news, the latest information, and bring it to you. So tonight, you know, last week we talked about Trump's segregation rescinding order and how it affects people. But I know the big news this week is tariffs. So last week on April 2nd, the reciprocal tariffs went into effect, and basically anything made outside of the U.S. that comes and gets imported here will be hit with a 25% tariff. And you know, everybody's asking the question, how is that going to affect the economy? How is it going to affect, you know, consumer pricing? How is that going to affect our wallets? You know, basically, bottom line. So, you know, tonight we're going to talk about the tariffs, and we're going to talk about just basically how, you know, this new Trump economy is going to work. So, you know, oh, looks like we got Hype in the building. What up, though, Hype?
Yo, bro, my bad.
Oh no, no, you good? You good? Just got
No, I was mid
started.
cough. I was mid cough when I jumped on.
Oh yeah, no problem. So you know, we're going to talk about the tariffs. We're going to talk about the crashing stock market, basically, because it's definitely not doing well, and just, you know, how um, all of this is going to affect the economy. So I'm sure you've heard about the tariff. The reciprocal tariffs went into effect last week on April 2nd, affecting any imported goods, imported products, things like that, and how you know, people are just kind of unsure or worried about how that's going to affect consumer pricing. But also, you know, because of that, how it's affected the stock market, and how we got this declining stock market going on, and people are being affected not only from their investments in the stock market, but also their retirement funds. A lot of people are online talking about how their retirement funds are tanking. People talking, you know, 25, 50% drops in their 401ks. Have you been hearing about that stuff?
So last week on what was that tariff day he called it or something?
Right.
um, I was at a union meeting where we was having this conversation about your the 401ks and like how all of that was working and like the
Hmm.
negotiations and it like yeah man the way this stuff is you don't know what the hell gonna happen from one day to the next now
Right. Right.
because this boy is basically just winging it like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
for
Winging it indeed. You know.
like you could have had like a remember they said they had like the project 2025 situation.
Right.
You could have had a plan and it could have been a bad plan, but at least it's a plan. And now it just seemed like these niggas get out here and they just doing anything and saying anything and just see whatever we can work. It's like throwing up, see how much shit we can throw up against the wall and what's gonna stick.
We'll see what it
Like,
stick. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
you can't even like. It's like one of them joints where you can't even be mad about one thing for so long because something else is gonna happen. They gonna
Right.
do something else to totally offend you, something to totally ruin your whole livelihood or your kids or your parent or like it's it's like too much of the dumb, it's like too much dumb shit. Like I don't know what people thought this boy was gonna come in and do. I don't know if people like really remember how things was going, or like always, people just base these things off of, well, how much money am I getting in my paycheck? I don't really make a difference who the president for me, because like I ain't gonna get no extra money. It's no official ever gonna get elected that's gonna say, "Hey Willie, we're gonna personally give you an extra $600 in your check just because you voted for us for city council, for mayor, for
Right,
governor, or whatever the hell." Even if
right,
Dame ran, he can't say, "Hey Willie, I got you on that extra 600. Good looking out on that vote." Like it ain't. It don't work that way.
right.
The first thing people go to, and it's the stupidest shit in the world, because then they be the first people complaining. First
Hmm.
people complaining about shit when I always say, if you didn't vote, and shut up. When you had the right to say something, you chose not to say nothing. Then you should just shut up. You should just
Right.
be quiet and go with whatever happens. And if you voted, and if you was like stood on whatever, even if like if you made a conscious decision where it was like, I just don't like the two situations that we got. It could be like I said, we ain't even just talking president. We could be talking your mayor, your city council, your uh what was the damn thing my sister ran for? Um God, I forgot the name of it. Because it was something that was like, I don't even know what that is, but okay. Register of Wills. It could be who's
Oh,
running for the Register of Wills. It's like I never even heard of this drawing, but copy.
right.
If you don't vote for these things, then you should shut the fuck up. So
Facts.
yeah, like these retirements and all of that. I mean, hell, I would say try to get that money somewhere else if you can, if you able to touch a percentage of it,
Yeah.
because I know them draws is tricky once you get into
Well,
those
yeah.
job
So,
joints.
and you know, what they always tell us is you got to ride the wave. You got to manage the investments on it, things like that, right? And re-diversify or reshuffle your mix, things like that. But you know, I think the concern though is like things like people who are retiring in the next 6 months to a year. They don't have time to be waiting for this to settle down or for this to to bubble back up or to
Yeah, I don't have time
rebound.
to ride no waves, damn it.
Exactly. A lot of people don't have that kind of time. I
Yeah,
mean, and
yeah,
then
I don't
there's
have that
those
kind of time.
people who you literally just fire because they were government workers and or had to lay off because they're government workers who may have needed that money for current bills and things like that and would have taken out 401k loans. There's people who all kinds of different situations, right? Who are going to get affected by this, regardless of if they believed in this plan or not. And I think that's the problem, like you said, is that a lot of this is them throwing something at the wall and hoping that something sticks. And I think that's crazy. It's asinine, especially in a situation where you're trying to use these tariffs as a way to battle or push back on the imbalance of how American products are being made in other countries. The thing is, if you wanted to get these companies that make items in other countries to kind of get right and kind of rebalance this back to more predominantly American made, products and American made parts, you should have given them some time. Said, hey, you know what, do this by 2029, and if you don't get it together by 2029, you're going to get hit with tariffs at that point. But to do that right now, out of nowhere, out of the blue, and say, "Oh yeah, next
Hey,
week,
bro.
if you don't have, if you have items being made overseas and importing them back in, you're gonna get
But you
hit."
know what you just said, bro? You just said have a plan.
Yeah, yeah,
You just
yeah.
said if you, it's just like when the NBA
Dramatic.
salary cap jumped up
Hmm.
and they like, we got all this new TV money. Either we can get y'all a little bit at a time, or we can just give you niggas all extra 40 million a team. And that's how
Right.
Golden State got Kevin Durant. You
Hmm.
can't just drastically change the market this way. You can't just decide, all right, on the third, we just gonna change the number on everything from everybody, and it's just gonna be
Right.
cool, apropos of nothing. Like you said, if you say in 2027 or in 2028 we have these tent poles that we want to meet, these goals we want to meet, that means you've planned it
Hmm.
out, you've thought about it. When we say, hey, we're going to take a break from doing a couple of the Monday shows, we have a plan for what we're doing. We're not just
Hmm.
flying by the seat of our pants. We say, all right, well, on the 15th, that Monday, we're going to do a show, and here go a couple of topics we got, just to let people behind the curtain. Like,
Right.
That's a plan.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
organization. That's having things run smoothly in a certain way. We couldn't just possibly jump in a group text and just say shows tonight, and nobody never talked about doing no show. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what them
And,
niggas had to
and
do.
even if you do, it's like you still got to know what you're going to talk about. You can't get on here and be like, "So, what's on your
So,
mind?" And
how
you
did
know, what I mean,
your
people be
day
looking at
go
us like we're crazy.
today?
Yeah.
You went to
But
work
I think
today?
right. But I think the other problem is that without that plan, that uncertainty that you're creating just creates more problems, and that's what we're seeing with this 401k situation, right? Because nobody said we'll put these tariffs on everybody, and then what we're going to do about the stock market. Nobody said that. Nobody thought about that. Nobody rectified, thought about the ramifications of that. They just threw something out there, and like you said, without a plan, now they have these consequences, and these consequences are affecting everyone. I mean, even some of the people who thought that they had some security from a bad economy. Nobody's immune to investment downturn. Nobody's immune to the effects of issues where the money that you're depending on, the passive money that you're depending on, starts to take a downturn. People that may have had, two, three, $400,000 in investments are now down, to a couple 100,000, 150,000, maybe even less. And now they're looking like, what do I do? I just had $300,000 in investments, and now I'm down to 150. That's substantial. That's impactful, and they can't do
It's a
anything
complete
about it.
change of your way of life, bro. That ain't even
Exactly.
just. If I thought I had 300 and now I got a bean, if you thought you had $300 and now you realize you got $100,
Mm-hmm.
if you went to
Life,
the vending machine
life
at
is
work and you
changing.
thought you had, if you thought you had $3, we can go down to this minuscule. You thought you was going to the
Mm-hmm.
vending machine with $3 and now you got one. It
Mm.
changed what you was just about to get. Like,
Exactly. Or you may not be able to get anything. Now you stuck.
or
You
you
like,
might
man,
not be able to
I
get
gotta be
nothing. Yeah.
hungry. I'm about to be hungry. And we don't need a lot of hungry people out here, especially not hungry rich people. That's just not good.
But that's what you about to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, you just drastically change stuff overnight. You went to bed one day and it was one thing. Like you said, I went to bed one day, it was 300. I wake up the next day, it's a being 50.
That's concerning. And so now there's the conspiracy theory that the Trump administration is literally trying to destroy the American economy in order to basically allow the ultra rich and the 1% to take advantage of that, to be able to say, oh, you know what, if everybody's in a complete downturn, they can buy these companies up that are, suffering from this downturn, these companies that are going to end up going into debt against their original, they were in the black, now they're in the red. Now they can go and grab these companies up and start making money off of them as they rebound off of the economy, and any real estate and things like that, being able to buy those things for pennies on a dollar. What's your take on that being the theory of what's behind all this?
So that's basically just to get completely rid of the middle class. We want the haves and the have nots. When we
Yeah.
talked about like a week, maybe 2 weeks ago about the boycotting situation, and
Yeah.
we like the same dude who owns the liquor store Sonny was talking about, he owns the mom and pop joint too. He
Hmm.
just ain't telling you that. The
Right.
people who own stuff own every damn thing. The person who owns Pepsi also owns Doritos. So if you seen something and they say, "Oh my God, I can't believe Pepsi said this," guess what? Fritos has their same company. Doritos their same company. Like all of them Jones be they into everything. They probably
Hmm.
into the paper towels that you like. Like it be that deep.
Right.
And
Right.
they want to create a situation where you have to come to us to get whatever. Like
Hmm.
in the same way, like, all right, we don't want you to have to go out the country to get nothing because we want to manufacture it here and we want to have more and we want to have more and we want you to have nothing. We want you to be
Hmm.
completely dependent upon us for everything. Is what they're doing.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I
And
can definitely
it's
believe it too.
nasty
That
work
it's
because there's way more people who aren't going to have than the
exactly.
small percentage are the ones that's going to have.
Hmm. Yeah, and to your point, the people that own everything, that have their hands in a little bit of everything, and that's the other problem, is that we have some of these regulations and some of these kind of basically these rules of business being thrown out the window by this administration, and I wouldn't put it past Trump or his administration to be like, oh, we're going to put this rule in place that these certain companies don't have to face antitrust, and these certain companies don't have to face monopoly reviews, and these companies, you know what I mean, where it like takes that oversight out of the picture. You know what I'm saying? Because that's definitely the next thing, and it's so easy for them to do something like that, and then to hold it up for so
Because he
long.
can make an executive order. Yeah, I just signed
Exactly.
on an executive order. The same shit like they've
Exactly.
been saying the whole time with the Vince McMahon situation. He
Hmm.
got all these lawsuits and all this bread, but Trump is his man. His wife works for Trump. So no matter
Hmm.
what happens with this whole John, if he gets convicted or any of that, he gonna get a pardon
Yeah.
because that's his
Yeah.
man.
That's the crazy thing. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
like
the
if you just
pardon
gonna
thing is
pardon
ridiculous
people,
too, because it's like
yeah.
with the swipe of a pen, you can just wipe people's transgressions away that we know that they're guilty of. Like that's
But
crazy.
with the swipe of a pen, it's all about him being a dictator in the whole
Hmm.
situation. It's
Yeah.
about me dictating who has and who doesn't. It's about me dictating who can do what and who can't. And it's all about what I said. Just like the fucking stimulus checks that came with his name or his picture on them or some shit.
Right.
Nigga ain't had nothing to do with them joints, but y'all ain't mind sending them out if my picture ain't on them.
Right. Right.
Or if my name ain't on them. The same thing
Yeah.
like the TikTok situation. I'm gonna keep talking about, oh, I gave y'all another 80 days with TikTok. Like, why would that keep coming out? Why would this be something that you worrying about? Shit
Right.
going to hell in a handbasket. You worrying about TikTok?
Hmm.
Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I think the big thing is that we do need to stay calm as possible, but also try to, I mean, I don't know, how do we push back at this point, because people have spoken, and it's still, I mean, he's still got a super large group of people who are right behind them saying this is okay
Because
and that this is
they
fine.
think that they in.
They
That's
think
the
they
that's
think they
the
think they're gonna
they
benefit
think that
somehow, and they're not.
yeah,
They're not.
they think they're in. Everybody's not in. The club
Yeah,
isn't exclusive if everybody gets to come.
exactly.
Like now, one thing that I did want to tap into, but I didn't even get a chance to do the background work on it. And I wish Sonny was here because he from Jersey. The Cory Booker situation where he talked at the
Yeah, the
Senate for the
filibuster.
20.
Yeah,
All right, so he did the 20. How the hell do you talk for 25 hours straight?
yeah, he did
Like
that.
I didn't really understand that whole John, and I didn't really get a chance to dive into it like I want to because I don't like to just be speaking on shit if I don't know about it.
Oh, for
But
sure.
um, that's why I said I really wish Sonny was on because he from New Jersey, so she
Yeah,
probably could have spoke to this a little bit better. But what did you think about that situation? Because they like this is the first thing the Democrats have done to fight back, and
you're
I ain't
right.
even
Yeah,
like trying to get into a whole Democrat Republican situation. If Republican
yeah.
situation works for you, independent works for you, whatever that is. I mean, that's between you and your situation. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said,
Big ass
I
building on my
don't, I
name.
didn't look too deep into it either. But I just heard that it was, definitely an attempt to fight back. And I don't know what the topic of his discussion was, or his speech was. But I know that, when they do these kind of filibusters, it's basically so that they can pass some kind of uh,
It
um,
was so that they couldn't pass no laws. It
oh,
was so that they couldn't pass nothing. Like
yeah,
as long as he
mhm,
was talking, they couldn't do no business.
exactly,
Because the
yeah.
last time somebody did it, they said it was a dude talk for 21 hours, but that was on some he didn't want to get the civil rights stuff passed. It's
Got
like, so
you.
damn, you could be a racist for 21 straight hours. Like, damn, you was dedicated to the craft, uncle.
Right, right, exactly. And and it's a congressional strategy, not often used, but definitely, effective for what it's supposed to do at that moment. Um, I'm trying to quickly look up what it was. Um, so his
Cory Booker was
oh,
his
he
name.
was protesting. Okay, so he was basically protesting Trump, and then and it was technically not to prevent a piece of legislation. Let me see. It was let's see. I'm trying to see real quick here. I guess he basically was just like he wanted to go after Trump. Um, said was a rallying point for a demoralized party. So to whether the Democrats can keep this energy going beyond the specific call, specific moment, providing analysis for the Independent. Richard Hall said that the speech was both a sign of desperation and a call to arms. So I guess he basically was trying to rally. It's like a rally cry to the Democrats. And I think that's the one challenge there, right? If it's a rally cry to the Democrats, the thing is that we know the Democrats have been very flawed over the years, maybe for its whole history. But it's also been one of those situations where we know the Republican Party is very calculated, very well organized, very put together. When they have something they stand on, they all stand on it. They don't. There's no division. There's no. They don't waver. They stick to it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the problems with the Democratic Party.
Yeah, they more unified. Like you said, if they like on a even if I don't agree with it, if this is what we going with, this is what we going with, and we gonna all stand on that together. They're not gonna come out and be divided like the Democrats would be like, well, I don't like this and I didn't want to do this and I didn't vote for this. The Republicans just all stand together.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the thing is that at some point they got to figure out how to stick together. They've got to figure out how to get come up with some initiatives, some points, some things that they're going to do, some action points, and actually stand on those things. As a group, as a united front, and the only way they're going to be able to, have any effectiveness is if they get together and do things as a united front. The division that they have, although light, is still a division, and it creates this problem of people seeing them as a weak party.
So again, this goes back to the beginning of the discussion that we were having a plan. You have to have a plan in place. You have to have some ideas in place. You have to have laid all of that out. They haven't done that. And you also have to have the infiltration. You can't let the person just whisper in your ear, yeah, but you don't like that. Yeah, but you don't agree with that. Because even if I don't agree with it, if me and my wife are talking to the kids, we are a united front in front of these kids. If I disagree with something she's saying, that's a conversation for us to have behind closed doors. That's not a conversation for us to have in front of the kids. It has to be the same thing with this situation.
Right.
Whether y'all disagree with whatever it is, because that's the way that they move, and you gotta move. You gotta fight this fire with fire. You can't keep fighting this fire with 3 bottles of Poland Springs. Like it ain't gonna work.
Right.
It obviously ain't working. It hasn't been working. It has never been working. And the one thing that they need to take from him is the united front, to stand on message. Again, whether you agree with it or not, it's about what's best for the whole situation, not what's best for your own personal ego.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, one of Booker's points, he said, in just 71 days, the president has inflicted harm after harm on America's safety, financial stability, the foundations of our democracy, and any sense of common decency. These are not normal times in our nation, and they should not be treated as such in the United States Senate. So yeah, he's gone after Trump, after Elon Musk, after the administration itself. So yeah, he was making some talking points about that. But I think that's the thing is that without actual action, what does it mean? What does it do? And that's the problem. We got to get some action. Somebody's got to really figure out how to stop some of these just haphazard notions and haphazard methods that the Trump administration is putting forth. Because without it, we're just going to keep tanking as an economy, keep tanking as I guess a society too. I'm about to say society and change it, but no, society too. We don't have a lot to really stand on right now, but we definitely have this. The Constitution. We have this the the three branches of government, the oversight, the checks and balances. We got something we got to be able to stand on. So
This nigga talking about he running for president in 2028.
yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's wild. That man drunk. That old man is drunk. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's crazy. Can't do that. But you know, people keep saying, "Oh, he'll sign an executive order to be able to do that." It's like, no, bro, that's crazy. Like they can't allow that. That's just crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's writing these executive orders for him, but they basically are making these things stick, and how that's possible, I don't get. I just that's what I
Because
don't.
he got the House, he got the Senate, he got everybody. Again, their own brand together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Crazy, crazy. But I mean, right now we just gotta keep our heads low, keep pushing through. Definitely hope that these 401ks rebound. I mean, me myself personally, I have one. Nowadays most people don't get pensions; we get 401ks, and we gotta hopefully be able to live off of that in the future. And I definitely don't like how this is looking. I mean, I didn't lose no 50%. I did lose a little bit. I had about a 10, maybe 12% loss in just a couple of days. It was crazy because I had just had a 3 or 4% positive, um, increase in my balance, and then all of a
But
sudden,
listen to
in
what
a
you're
couple of days,
saying,
it
bro.
dropped like 12%.
That's what I'm about to say, bro. How bad is that you saying it's only 10 or 12%? 10 or 12% is a lot of money.
Oh, it is. Oh, believe me, it
Yeah.
is. But I mean, in comparison to some
And
people,
compare
some people
compared to other
online
people's
was talking about they
situations,
had a
yeah.
25% drop. Some people were saying they
That's
had almost a
insane.
50% drop. It definitely depends on how aggressive your 401k plan is set up. Mine is aggressive, but it's not like highly aggressive. It's moderate. So I don't have a lot of money in high volatile stocks and things like that. I have more bonds, some cash, stuff like that. So that kind of saved me. Where some people were saying how like they lost almost 50%. They definitely probably have a more aggressive portfolio, which definitely hurts when you're looking at it from that standpoint.
That's insane though. For 3 days, for you to lose 25%, 50% of your bread that you ain't even do nothing like the mess up. I can
Yeah,
see if you just made a bad investment, you try to start something, it didn't work. I can see like you could take that,
yeah.
but like you said, I went to bed and it was 300, now it's 150.
Yeah, I got some stock in that I do on Robinhood. My Robinhood is down at least 35, 40%. So yeah, it hurts over there. It's hurting. It's luckily I don't have a ton over there, but I got enough over there that it hurts because it's like looking at it like I put that in there with good faith that these companies will be good, will be stable enough. I mean, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to just have something to, to survive on. And it's tough looking at that and seeing 35% drop over the last couple of months since the
Hey,
start
that's
of the
crazy.
year. Yeah.
I think I had something invested in Robinhood, but I pulled that a minute ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had a bigger portfolio just before the end of the pandemic, and then I started to kind of pull some stuff only because I had a couple of things going on, and so I started, getting my investments back up over there, and yeah, it's been like I said, it's just been tough to watch. I totally come out of crypto. I did the crypto thing for a while, and when
I
that
ain't never
wasn't when
messed
that
with that.
wasn't getting me
I did it.
the return I wanted, I was like, let me get myself back into regular stocks. But that's still been crazy,
Yeah, I ain't never messed with them crypto situations. I ain't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good handle on it. After I think I peaked at about 15, maybe close to 20%, and then it started to drop. So I pulled stuff out of there because it was just way too volatile. I mean, you'll start off a weekend with maybe a 5%, positive return, and then over the weekend it's up, down, all over the place because they're trading it over in China. That money's moving, and something go wrong over there. shoot, you wake up on Monday with a headache. So it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't for the light
That's what I'm saying.
for the
I
lighthearted.
wasn't built for this.
What up, though, Jamie? Appreciate you.
I wasn't built for this stock market situation, bro. I was
Yeah.
checking that joint way too many times. Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing they tell you, like, don't check it, don't be all up in it all the time. Unless you're a day trader, there's no reason for you to be all up in it all the time. But like you said, it's hard not to because you're like, I got to see what my money doing.
yeah, pretty much. That's what tip I was on.
Yeah, yeah. All right, enough about Trump, man. We always got something about Trump every week. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. But yeah, last week I asked Sonny this question, so I'm gonna get your take on this. I don't know if you've heard about some of these new engagement strategies on social media, basically where somebody posts something and it's either the most outrageous thing you've ever heard, or it may have some false information in it, or it may have some things that you just don't like, and it gets a lot of people going, gets a lot of people commenting, a lot of people going back and forth, arguing, all kinds of things. It's called rage baiting. What do you think about rage baiting, and do you think it's ruining social media?
That's the entire purpose of social media.
Mhm.
Is for you to say the most outlandish stuff, to do the most outlandish stuff, so that people can click this. It's like click everything's clickbait. What
Mm,
makes me stand out other than whoever else? Oh, I can eat some Vaseline. I can eat 3 jalapenos and shake up a Coca-Cola and see what happens. Like I can eat a Mentos and a Mountain Dew. Like people just do stupid stuff that is nonsensical and makes no sense. It says the stuff people be saying and doing. It's like you can't believe that. You didn't really think that. You're just saying this so people can click this and comment on this video, and then you can go, "Yay, I gained 20,000 followers." What
right.
is that really gonna do for you? Like,
Make them some money.
Disney
Get
has. I mean, but
them some ad revenue.
how much though? Is this something tangible? Is this something that you can turn into another situation?
Right.
Because once you've gone outlandish and overboard, then you have to continue to go outlandish and overboard.
And so that's
So
and that's my, and I guess that's my problem with it, is that there's some people who literally that's all they do. They just do, like, the what brought this up was I was watching a video somebody sent to me where this young lady was saying that she was upset that her youngest, or no, her oldest child's father, or one of her middle kids' father, invited the or not invited, but said that he wanted to take his child on a trip to Disneyland, and she was upset because she has 6 kids, and although he wants to take the one, she felt like he should be taking all 6, because what kid doesn't want to go to Disneyland, and he should be paying for it. And she would no, she said, I told him I would give him half of the ticket money for the other kids, but he wouldn't take them. And so of course people are like, are you crazy? Why would he take all your other kids to Disneyland? And you should get the other fathers to pitch in and do this. Or everybody had their comments. And so she had that post, right? Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of shares, comments, all kinds of engagement. Next post, she's going to her neighbor's house, knocking on his door, talking about, oh, I see you got a birthday party. Why didn't you invite my daughter? My one daughter. She don't even got 6 kids.
same
I don't even
same
think she
thing.
got a kid at all. So she's literally just lying through all these posts to get engagement, to get clicks, to get views. And she posts all kinds of outrageous stuff throughout her stream just to engage people, because people are like, oh,
People
she's
go
doing
pay
something
for it.
else crazy this week. So, I think that's where I had an issue with
When people say the goofiest stuff or just do the goofiest stuff, I'm never clicking this video. I'm
it.
not gonna give you what you're looking for.
Mhm.
So like when somebody is like you said, oh well, I got 6 kids, and how come you didn't take them all to? It's not my job. Now, if we got one kid together and you have one other kid, and your child calls you and says like, hey, I'm hungry, and these are little kids, then okay, ain't nothing wrong with picking up 2 Happy Meals. Ain't nothing wrong with picking up 2 burgers from the corner store.
Right.
But it's not my job. I'm not obligated to feed all of your children. Those are your children, and not our children. They're not my children. And They're not my responsibility. When you claimed all 6 of these niggas on your taxes, you didn't call me and say,
Right. And you want
because
some
I
of the
just
tax
got
money?
right,
Right.
hey, I got 60,000 back. Do you want a 4,000? Like, no. So
Mhm.
don't call me when you looking to do something like this. But this is again, this is why I said this is the type of stuff that I don't follow these pages. I don't click this stuff because it's just dumb. And when you
Mhm.
give them the shine of like, yeah, they got their 15 minutes of fame, and like you said, they might have made, I don't even know, like what you gonna make. Like even if you made $1,000 that one time, so now you just gonna keep chasing it and keep doing goofier and goofier stuff, making
Oh
yourself look
yeah,
dumber and dumber, so that
definitely.
you can get,
A lot of
so
people
that you
don't
can
care
get
about
more
looking dumber and dumber.
copy. A lot of people look
Mhm.
dumb professionally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I forgot the girl's name, but I think it was Peaches or something like that. She basically made a whole like went a whole year and a half just making crazier and crazier videos, just doing most outlandish stuff, saying the most outlandish things about herself and about her situation, and just continue to get all that engagement because people were like either against her or for her or in the middle. Some people just got concerned that she was, hurting herself. Some people were concerned that, she was doing something, that the thing she was doing was going to hurt her children, all kinds of stuff. But this woman
Because
rode this wave for over a year, and I'm sure she made tons of money off of it because people were definitely engaged, were definitely watching her stuff, watching her lives and her videos, her skits, whatever it was, and it's crazy to me that, this is what the internet is, or that this is what social media has come to, is that this becomes the strategy, and this is how people start to make money and to get engagement. It's no longer like, I no longer believe anything I see on social media, like at all. Like I used to be like, oh, this could be real, or this could be a situation
oh
somebody's
yeah,
going
if you
through.
catch an outlandish story, you can't believe them, Joe.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't believe the ones that are semi normal. You'd be like somebody posted the other day about how, what was he saying? The guy was saying that his wife did something, and he felt bad, and he was looking to get everybody's opinion on how he should handle it. And my thing was like, damn, like it seemed like a normal situation or whatever, but also I felt like this could just be clickbait. This could just be another rage bait, because some people felt like, oh well, yeah, she's overreacting, or you are overreacting, or whatever it was. And I felt like, I don't even know. I don't even want to look at it anymore, because this could just be rage bait, another type of rage bait, you know.
The first line of my podcast is I appreciate you hitting the button. Because
Mhm.
once you've streamed this video, you've already given this person what they were looking for.
Yeah.
You have already helped out their situation. If you've shared this video, you've helped out their situation. They got you. That was what they needed
Mhm.
from you. Because all they was looking for was the engagement. That's why I said, like, ultimately, what does it really turn into? Because
Right.
if you did or said the goofiest stuff, which sad enough, the people who do and say the goofiest stuff be seeming like they winning and seem like, oh my God, they have such a great situation, but you have to continue to top the goofy with more goofy. If
Right.
you don't care about having a bad name, like you said, you the person who said you had all these kids, but then you didn't even have no kids, or like, so like ultimately, then at the end of in real life, who's really wants to be around you? Who wants to do business with you?
Right.
Like weren't concerned with, it's the stupidest thing in the world. You concerned with some strangers you don't even know on the internet and their thoughts
Right.
and opinions. I don't get
Hmm.
it. I like to have
Yeah.
real. How many times somebody sent me a message like, "Do you want to buy 10,000 followers?" No, because
Yeah.
when
Oh yeah.
somebody hits the button, I want it to be a real person that I could talk to and like, what did you think? How did you feel? Not just like
Right.
you got 20,000 followers and 4 likes on a picture. Something about that math ain't
Don't,
mathing.
don't, yeah, the math ain't. My wife just brought that up the other day. She was saying how she saw this video or this post that had like 10,000 views and like 300 likes or a couple hundred, reactions, and it was just like, yeah, it's because these people are buying their views, they're buying their followers. You got 20,000 followers, but your video's only getting 100 views. Like, what is that? Obviously
That's
this
what I'm
stuff is
saying.
not real.
Yeah, if you can't convert them, then what's the point of having them?
That part, that part.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think us as social media consumers, I guess you could call us, is that when you're you know getting invested into somebody's situation or somebody's scenario, and to end up feeling like, what, this is, I've been had, or I've been bamboozled. I think that's
look
where
like
I just been
punishment.
taking taking offense to it. You know what I'm saying? But I guess I respect the business acumen for somebody that's going to stick to it, is going to stand on business with it and just keep it going. I mean, this is one guy that I watch, his videos when they come up. I was just trying to see if I could find one of them so I can remember his name, but is this guy. He does these videos where he basically does reactions to certain things, to certain people's videos, which is fine. But he also does these like these little tips. He does these like life hacks and stuff like that. And so I've always liked him for his life hacks. I like some of his reactions, but he just did a video the other day where it was like a phone test between multiple phones, and I'm like, dang, like even he's doing rage bait right now, Like I don't know if it's a slow week for him or something, but I'm like, he's doing this thing where it's a fake phone test between or comparing these different phones. And
I
the
mean,
whole the
that's
whole
yeah.
premise of it is fake, where they're like, oh, if you put a piece of plastic behind the camera, and if the camera can burn the plastic, then it's a bad camera. And it was like, he was like, yeah, what do y'all think about this? And I'm like, we don't think nothing. This is fake. Like, you can tell it's fake.
Even
Like, what are you talking about?
even the dumb Jones where people will give you like the iPhone versus Android or
Mhm.
LeBron versus Jordan, like just
Right.
the instant clickbait because somebody's only ever having an iPhone, somebody's only ever having an Android, somebody's only
Hmm.
ever rooting for LeBron. Like
Right.
it's that type of stuff. Like it's where you just I'm gonna get a reaction because I know people just gonna bite.
You know people gonna bite. Yeah.
But what does
Mhm.
that get you ultimately? Like
Yeah.
that's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah, like you said, they can end up turning off their audience, right? Because I mean, I know a lot of us have been in his audience for his reactions to certain things, and for his life hacks. And I mean, I haven't seen a life hack from him in months, and then the reactions have slowed down, and now we're getting these kind of things where it's like,
Yeah,
I don't
now you
want to see
scrambling.
rage bait and clickbait.
That's why I always tell people, with the clothing line, I do my stuff by the order. It's called custom for a reason.
Right,
I don't have just a bunch of stuff sitting around because if you've got a whole bunch of stuff sitting around, when you walk past all of this money that you spent, all you gonna do is say, "Damn, that's $3,000, or that's $4,000, or it's whatever it was that you spent the money to get these materials to make whatever." And now
right,
you either going you gonna just put the stuff on sale, so now you're gonna make less money off of it. You gonna sell it half price, and then you taking a loss on the whole situation. Like you're just scrambling at this point because you're just trying to get something to going with it. It's the same thing there. If you just go outrageous, 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 you can only go but so far until you going completely over the deep end here. But if that's what your brand is, if that's what the hell you're doing, then you're going to have to keep going that way until you done crashed out.
right.
Now you got yourself tied into all types of dumb shit, all types of stuff that don't even make sense, all in the name of getting some likes. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
capitalism
for
shit that
sure.
too.
Yeah. All right. Next topic I want to bring up. I just popped it on the screen already, but is the one of the latest social media phenomena, which is Pop the
Oh
Balloon.
God,
Yeah, and it's
this
going and
is
it's going live. So a lot of people are debating on if they are making a mistake by doing this deal with Netflix, and then two, the reason that people are thinking this is possibly a mistake is because they're replacing the host and bringing on social media people, celebrities, things like that. You know, this is supposed to be like a dating show. It's supposed to be, for people to engage and find love. Um, you know, changing up hosts and changing the format. Do you think a show like that, or social media, social media brand like that, do you think them changing up their format and changing up even things like their host and the type of um, goal that they have, do you think that's a mistake for a brand like that? Do you think that's a good look? What do you think about that?
All right, a couple things. This balloon pop situation. I watched one of these. It was dumb. It's
Mhm.
this. It's the same clickbait shit that we talking about.
Mhm.
Nobody's on here. It's the flavor of love of today.
Yeah.
Nobody's on here looking for love. Okay, I'm not gonna find out if I love you if I go, oh, who got a job? Pop the balloon. Who's 5'3"? Pop your balloon. Who has kids? Like, this is not the way that you make these type of decisions. I mean, some people do because again, some people just do dumb shit just to say that they did it. And I'm quite sure somebody got married off of this dumb shit just so that they can say that they did it. But I wouldn't make my life decisions off of this. If you're entertained by this, if you look at it as it's just a TV show, because that's what it is,
Mhm.
then cool. But once you say like I'm a partner up with anybody, we've all been in a situation where some new boss came in, a new company came in, and they tell you nothing's gonna change. We're going to keep
Right.
doing what you've been doing, and then they change shit. But when you got with Netflix, then you knew things was gonna change. We're not gonna give you this Netflix bread, and you think it's just gonna be what it was.
Right. Right.
So you got to kind of understand that when you go in. Now you need to have in writing though that I'm the host. I'm the only one who can host this. I
Right.
think it was a girl on there the first time I seen it. It was the first
Yeah.
time and the only time.
Yeah.
But
Her name is
Copy.
Arlette. Yeah, Arlette. I forgot her
All right,
last
so
name, but yeah.
copy. Yeah, like you need to have that in writing. I don't know how in 2025 we still having the same problems that we was having in like contracts from the 1950s in music,
Right.
where like Ray Charles was getting jerked, and the Temptations in the 70s, and like Ice Cube and them in the 90s. There's no way that these situations continue to go and we continue to do the same stuff. We have to have in writing that I'm the host. This is my situation. I don't need a co-host. I don't need nobody else to help me with this, John.
Mhm.
Is if I feel like if Netflix
Now
is
let
looking for
me
me, then
now let me want
if
clarify one thing
Netflix,
though with this
go ahead.
situation. The lady Arlette, her and her husband created the show. They actually did the deal with Netflix and agreed to changing the host. So they're the
All right.
executive producers of the show, and they apparently agreed. I mean, I don't know if it, like you say, I don't know if it was a lack of them getting into the contract or if it was just them immediately saying, "Oh, we good with it. If you're gonna pay for the show, we put on whoever you want as host." So
So this is a all right copy. Because this is the way I always look at it. Just because the first offer came, if Netflix wants me, then bet that means now we can go to YouTube TV, or we can go to Apple TV. Like we can create a bit more where if you want me, then everybody probably want me.
mhm,
Or you just can't just jump at the first thing. This is again how these bad record deals would always happen, or bad TV contracts happen, where people just jump at the first thing, like, oh my God, somebody wanted, let's just go with it. It's
right.
10,000 that we can get right now. It's 100,000 that we can get right now when it could have been 100 million, like, or
Mhm,
it could have been something totally different if you just believed in your product. Or then
right.
again, like we talk about this 401k situation, you don't know what everybody's circumstances is. The bird in the hand is better than the one in the bush. Like I know right now we can
Right.
cash out with this 600,000 and be cool. Like for some people, I was having a conversation with somebody about this like 2 weeks ago, and it was like, the happiness is relative. Some
Hmm.
people is a guy, or girl, and they baby living in a one bedroom apartment, and they are the happiest people in the world. But it's a guy,
Facts.
girl, and they baby who living in a one bedroom apartment, and they're the most miserable people in the world. It's all
Mhm,
relative. We could be the best of the best with 600,000 in the bank and steady paychecks coming in, or we
right.
could be the best of the best with $45 in the bank and a wish and a prayer coming in. Like so, you never know what people's circumstances be.
Well, yeah, and that was my thing about it is that the circumstances could have been what they were, like you said, because it's possible that they either jumped at the first offer or maybe they've been shopping this around. It's possible they could have been shopping this around and everybody turned them down. Netflix said, you know what, dating shows are our bag. That's what we do. So we're gonna go ahead and pay you some money, see how it goes. we're gonna have you do this, that, and the third, and they agreed. You know what I'm saying? We never know what that situation was like. We don't know what that deal was like. We don't know how well or how not well that shop around went. Now did they shop this around? I am
Good point.
98.99% sure they shopped this around to multiple streaming networks. I'm pretty sure that they had a couple deals on the table from a couple different networks. This is Netflix's bag. Netflix has a stream of different dating shows that they already offer, and this just goes along with that. So I definitely feel like this was probably one of those sweetheart deals where it was like, hey, you know what? Apple TV is offering you 50,000 an episode. We'll give you 60,000. You put Yvonne Orji in as the host, and we got a deal. And they probably were like, okay, cool. That works. Or maybe they had something else going on. Maybe there's some sort of residuals. Whatever the case may be. What I do know is Netflix is the type that will cut you a check up front. They don't care how your show does. They don't care what the prospects are. They're gonna say, you know what, we got $100,000. We're gonna cut you a check. What you want to do? Where Apple is gonna be like, look, we're gonna give you 25,000, and we're gonna see how it goes. And in the end, if you make some money for us, we might pay you. We no guarantee. We might
You
pay
can
you.
recoup that. You can recoup that on the back end.
You can recoup. Apple is notorious for that recoup on the back end. On top of the fact that they're also known to put in some bad, some nefarious things into their contracts. So it's one of those situations where I think that this might have been one of those scenarios where this was their sweetheart deal. Are they making a mistake in terms of the host change and the format change? I think it could affect the fan base, but I
It could
don't think
definitely
it'll
affect the
affect
industry.
the result, because I think the result that they're looking for is to, one, garner new fans, garner new engagement, get a bigger platform, and this is what they've done, right? They've got a bigger platform. They have the opportunity to gain a bigger following, and they're doing a live format on Netflix, which is still a brand new thing. Netflix has only just now gotten the live format down pat. So I think that them jumping on that live bandwagon was probably a good idea as well, to be able to say, you know what, we're going to be one of the only shows on Netflix that's live, as well as we're going to have this bigger platform to promote this already bustling property that we have ownership of. So I think it works out for them, especially too. They're executive producing, so that means they're going to be getting a little cut from any kind of back end that comes from this. Not a lot usually comes off of a Netflix deal. You usually get whatever you get from that upfront check is what you get. But it's definitely had some potential in the future, especially if it does do well, because then Netflix is going to cut you another check because they're going to want a season two if it does well.
So even then, though, like the fun could have like some of these things be like a niche product
Mhm.
where that debut episode is live and everybody's, oh, it's the thing to do tonight, so everybody's going to watch and tune in. But what we doing for episode 12?
Yeah.
This is what I always say about people. People talk about. I was talking to somebody about starting a podcast yesterday. Great, you want to start a podcast because everybody thinks that this one, two things is so interesting that me and my man always talk about. What's episode 24 about? What's episode
Right.
54 about? Like, I had 20 topics, 20 guests, and two radio stations lined up before I had a name for my podcast.
Mm.
Like, you have to map these things out. Again, it goes back to you have to have a plan.
Right.
And the whole thing about their show was it ran a certain way. So their core audience is going to say, I liked it better when it was on YouTube, or I liked it better when it was
Right.
on Instagram. Because now it could be a corporate situation. Now we're going over here because we're sponsored by Huggies. And like, you
Right.
could mess up the whole format because now it's a different situation. And yeah, we got the bag from it. But again, we could have jumped at, I don't know what their negotiation situation was. Uh, we could have jumped at something that was to get a quick couple dollars, but now it just messed up the whole brand. Or it
Yeah.
could be the thing that we got the quick couple dollars and the brand takes off to a completely different level because now we the number one joint in where the hell ever, Spain or something. I don't know.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely can go left. That's true, and I don't doubt that the powers that be at Netflix understand that, but I definitely hope that Arlette and her husband understand that like you said, that this could sour the brand. I mean, I think the one thing that has helped them, at least over the last probably about 2 or 3 months, is that there's been a lot of imitators, a lot of imitators. So I think they already feel like they have a very viable brand that people know, people understand, it belongs to them, and they're just looking for a way to kind of grow this thing, right? Is it the right way to do that? Like you said, I kind of hope that this is not going to turn into to something less than what they expected, But we'll see. It's definitely to be seen.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, listen, I hope that works out for y'all. I hope y'all do win. I like to see people win. I'm not one of those people who's rooting against you, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. I like to hear the people are winning. That does me good because I know I can't be the only, I can't win everything. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right,
want to hear that you got something good going on. So you go ahead and pop those balloons. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, but yeah. So before we wrap up for the night, I got one more. I don't know if
go, bro. I gotta get the hell up.
Oh, you gotta get up out of here. Okay, for sure. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead and let the folks know where they can find you.
You can find me and Sonny on May the 4th for the podcast Link Live Show, The Empire Strikes Back. May the 4th, doors at 4 o'clock. That is at the King's Cafe, 218 West Shelton Ave. Is Wayne and Shelton if you're in the city. Get your tickets now. Hit the link in my bio. And episode 165 is out tomorrow on all streaming platforms. That is Why Did the OU Have featuring my brother, Aleem Quadir. Also at Custom Hustle World on Instagram and Custom Hustle Co. on Twitter.
All right, for sure. Well, it's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG and Twitter, Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. Visit me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to. WillieStyles.info for all my links. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate everybody for watching. We're going to go ahead and end this thing. You know where to find us at gftradioshow.com. Make sure you hit up our links. Haim just dropped a new episode as well. Make sure you go check that out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. You know where to find your favorite podcasts at, favorite audio podcasts. Make sure you go check that out. Come back here for any replays that you want to see, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. And until next time, we.
Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Perspective, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on gftradioshow.com for all of our audio and video playbacks, as well as links to all of our social media sites.